Okay, so today is November the 19th, 2024. And, since my last video, I've been able to pick up a piece of equipment. I picked up a tablet, which should make my job in terms of, doing research and uploading videos. Someone's trying to call me, but I'm not going to answer that. Doing the research and then uploading the videos, it should make it a lot easier. It definitely, in terms of time, it'll make my videos much faster. So we have some extreme developments on the international scene, but we'll get to that after I run this one article. See, now you guys will be able to, I can play a video and you guys will be able to hear it for yourself instead of me handwriting the notes, things of that nature. And you can hear it for yourself. So this particular report right here comes from Emancipation Black Media, and it deals with the Palestinian movement in America. They like to call it pro-Palestinian movement. I don't like to call it pro-Palestinian movement because, again, the injustices that the Palestinian people are facing in the Middle East, if it was any people anywhere on the earth facing those kind of, those kind of conditions and inhumane treatment, then, it'd be it would be a pro Chinese movement. That's what they would call it, a pro Japanese movement. The world just cannot stand by and allow for another Holocaust to take place without there being mass protests across the world. So let's get into this particular video right here. Black America, this is for you. Listen to this. This video right here is 4 minutes and 42 seconds. So I might disrupt the video, make comments periodically.
More fallout from the election. Now the people of the pro-Palestine movement, they feel that it's done now. Why is it done? Is it done because Palestinian people are stopping the protests? No. They feel it's done because Black Americans say, okay, you got the juice now. We going home. Who had ruled that?
Because Arab Americans and Muslim Americans voted for Donald Trump or stayed out of the election by voting for Jill Stein, and in general because other races voted so much less for Kamala Harris than black women and black men, who were at above 90% and above 80% respectively, I have seen so many people in the comments of so many videos saying, good luck, fight for Palestine on your own, I'm going to Starbucks, I'm done fighting for this movement, and win it without us. Don't ask black men and women to get involved in this anymore. It's your problem. You didn't stand up for us. We're not going to stand up for you. To be clear, I think this is going to be the biggest loss to the pro-Palestinian movement after the fact that y'all just elected Donald Trump, a man who says that he will happily let Israel completely roll over Gaza, that he wants to use, property in Gaza for a beach resort, etc., etc. Netanyahu isn't even trying to hide the fact that now he can do whatever he wants. He's not even willing to negotiate a ceasefire. And we're... So when I say that the pro-Palestine movement just lost, I cannot actually tell you by how much. Because I don't think there's going to be a strong pro-Palestine movement in the U.S. anymore, or even globally, because black men and women have always been at the forefront of that, and they are very rightfully saying, I quit, this is your problem now.
I won't...
Okay, so let me pause it right there. Okay, so, yes, black Americans historically have been known to, en masse, protest certain conditions that affect black America. But, not only black America, we've been known to come out and support political movements, social movements that we feel are morally right, or movements that are in tune with our agenda. Arab Americans, they're new on the scene. And when I say new on the scene, they didn't come over here in 1619. They didn't come over here in 1819. They didn't come over here in 1919. So they're new on the scene. Arab Americans, Muslim Americans, brothers and sisters from India and China, they showed up after black Americans have already fought for human, social, civil rights, things of that nature. Since they've come to this country, en masse, or, their collective, they've never supported our struggles. I don't fault them for that. But what I can say is that they should not be angry with quote unquote African Americans for not supporting their movement. Of course, some of us inside the African American community, I don't consider myself an African American, but some of us inside of the black community, we identify with the Palestinians. We understand what they are going through, and we support them. But again, it could be any people. Let's move on. Let's see what he has to say about this. I'm gonna have to get this guy's name.
Black Americans to see, without us, this country goes to crap. If we take that position, the whole 4 years of Trump, but we take the position, not my people, not my problem. Only we gonna speak up when it's our people. We only gonna protest if it's our people. We only gonna boycott if it's our people. It don't matter what these other groups come crying to black people, because they're gonna be doing it all. They're gonna be shedding some tears during this 4 years, and be like, hey, my kids are good. Our black children are good. Trump ain't messing with us. We fine. That's the kind of attitude we got to have this whole 4 years. Because they're going to be crying and they're going to be, look at us and look at us. You know what I'm saying? But just remember, if it was the other way around and if Trump was coming after us and if Trump was messing with us, right, they wouldn't care. They wouldn't care whatsoever. So since everybody worrying about their own community, we need to worry about our own community. And just keep saying that. Not my people, not my problem. We only going to worry about black issues, black concerns, black everything, right? Because we need to fix our community. Listen, we don't have time to worry about other groups. It's not even about being mean or getting out licked back. No. It's the issue is we need to focus on our own community because we do not do.
I agree with him that we need to focus on the most discerning issues in our community. I totally agree. Where I draw the line of dichotomy at is that we as Africans here in America, we can no longer allow ourselves to be an isolated sector. Meaning that not my issue, not my problem. As a collective, we should never, ever take on that mindset. Because what that does is that it isolates us in an international community. At the end of this video, I'm going to make a few more comments on why I think, this Palestinian female here, why she feels she's being abandoned, or why she feels that the Palestinian movement has been abandoned by black Americans. But again, I agree with him. We most definitely should place a priority on addressing issues that affect the black community. But never, ever should we sit back and turn a blind eye to injustices. I mean, the blacks in South Africa aren't doing that. They stand firmly with the people of the Middle East and Gaza in particular. And there's a reason why. See, the people in South Africa lived under apartheid. The blacks in America, we lived under the Slavocracy, Jim Crow. And we have suffered greatly at the hands of the institutional powers, the colonial masters. So never should we say, not my problem. That's your problem. No, at all times. Even if we're not benefiting from it like we think we should always stand up to injustices. And if there's an injustice being committed, we should stand against that injustice. Let's let him continue.
Do that. We don't focus on our own community. While you taking time going protest and all these other things that you're doing, the black community gets nothing out of it.
See, I don't agree with that.
It's not like you went protesting with the Palestinians and the Palestinians gave black people a bunch of money, a bunch of jobs, or something that's going to be tangible to the black community. No.
Looking
These
for
other
a handout.
groups demand we get out there and be their voice because they don't have a voice without black America. And anything they try to do and we out of it, it don't go nowhere. Because we are the voice in America. We have the most political capital.
No, you don't.
Look at the leaders and the lineage that we come from.
We come from a strong
So
lineage.
yeah, I'm so glad Black Americans are falling back. Well, that's crazy. So Black Americans fall back and your movement is done. So that means you didn't have a movement. That's what it meant. It means you did not have a movement. Because if you can't do your movement without Black Americans, that means you didn't have one.
At all times, Black Americans, being in the position that we are in, we are on the bottom of everyone. I don't know if this guy's going to tell you that, but at all times, we should be looking to create united fronts across the spectrum. In America, outside of America, in the international community, we, as Black Americans, African Americans, New Africans, whatever we refer to ourselves as, we should never, ever miss the opportunity. We're not opportunists, but we should never miss the opportunity to form international coalitions, whether that be economic, ideological international coalitions, all of that stuff. We should never miss the opportunity to form positive relationships with other groups of people who are struggling against some of the things that we're struggling. But let's let him continue.
And Black Americans get paid for nothing. They're not even honored for anything. You understand? Look, I don't support Vice President Harris, but at least y'all could have did was vote for her. If you wanted those Black women to support y'all. So I'm so glad.
Sell your vote. This is what
I'm
he
so
wants.
glad
Sell
what
your vote.
happened in this election. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that my people have pulled back their support. Now and get over this election and let's get to work in the Black community. Let's get to work and do what we got to do as a community.
Okay, so that story right there was run by the Emancipation Black Media. They have another channel. Like I say, when I get his name, because he's well renowned on social media platforms, and they do bring up at times stories that are vitally important to the fabric of Black America. Now, let me put my 2 cents in. See what this guy did not tell you. And look at my eye, man. I got into some poison ivy the other day. It looked like somebody punched me in my eye. I was cutting weeds, and man, my whole face is swollen. But yeah, nobody punched me in my eye. That's poison ivy. I've been allergic to that stuff my entire life. But what he did not tell you is that Black America, politically and organizationally, as a collective, is as weak as it has ever been since our inception into this country. So, by this Palestinian woman, or I'm thinking she's Palestinian, I never got her name. But what this guy isn't telling you is that Black America is in a weak position. It cannot wage a protracted political struggle, period, on any level. It doesn't have strong Black political organizations. We don't even have strong community organizations at the grassroots level to sustain a protracted political struggle. So, as let's just use it. Pro-Palestinian movement was attacked by the federal government, the FBI, and all the other secret security agencies out there infiltrated. People being neutralized. Black America does not have the systems in place to wage a political struggle for the duration of the duration. So when these movements are attacked, Black America is going to fold quickly. It's going to fold. So if you listen to him, people outside of the United States would think that Black America is in a dominating political position in this country, and it is not. We are at the weakest point we have ever been. So protracted struggle is something that we don't know. This isn't the Black community 60 or 70 years ago that courageously waged the civil rights and Black liberation movement struggles. These aren't those type of people. This is a hybrid generation. This generation currently, they don't believe in protracted struggle because they're disconnected from reality. So, yes, people inside of the Palestinian movement, they're saying that blacks, and it wasn't many of the blacks out there, and I don't know where, who this woman is or where she's getting her information from, but blacks have not en masse went out in protest for Palestinians or protesting against the genocide in Gaza, protesting against the Israeli government that is clearly waging a war genocide and a population removal in the Middle East. So, again, I don't know where this woman got her information from. He is a part of the black middle class. And I can emphatically tell you that the black middle class is spineless. They have absolutely no stomach for political struggle, period, outside of their own selfish, individualistic needs. Black middle class doesn't care about the black community. Now, I'm 51 years old, and my entire life I've been hearing, oh, black, we need to come together. Okay, so if we need to come together as a community, who is going to lead? Who is going to lead the movement? The black underclass doesn't have the ideological understanding to lead any political movement. So who's going to lead it? The black middle class? If you're going to lead a political struggle where we're talking about egalitarian principles, then the black middle class isn't capable. Because again, I had a conversation with my dad the other day. My dad he's a part of the black middle class. Trust me, and he doesn't want to lose his material gains. Get out in the street, protest, and lose everything. Get clobbered across the head, bit by dogs. In my particular situation, targeted directly by the FBI, and no telling what other agencies are involved. He doesn't want that smoke, right? So yes, the black community is going to fold, especially when you consider the fact that the politics of the black community is dominated by the women, not the men. The politics in our community is dominated and defined by the women, and like the spineless cowards that they are, the black men just toil along and allow themselves to be led into the abyss of nothingness. So, Joe Biden finally did it. This is y'all president. Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, they finally did it. Let me see if I can bring up an article. As I get more familiar with this tablet here, I'm going to, some type of way, I already have my notes and stuff set up, but I'm going to go over here to Times of India, and we are going to explore some of the latest developments on the international scene, particularly with Russia's response to Joe Biden, the Joe Biden administration, the Democratic Party, the American elites, allowing Ukraine to use long-range munitions, missiles, to strike deep inside of pre-2014 Russia. Something that Russia said is a red line and could trigger a nuclear response. So let me see here. Okay. Russia's huge announcement after destroying American missiles ATACMS over Bryansk. So let me turn the volume down, and we're going to get into this. I'm just going to read some of the titles. Okay, so this is, the most, Sergei Lavrov, Russian foreign minister, you don't get better than him. But, okay, I hope that they will read this doctrine, decree signed by Putin, broadening the justification for Moscow's use of nuclear weapons. Not in the way they read the UN Charter, saying they're only what they need, but the doctrine in its entirety and its nuances. You're talking about allowing Ukraine to launch missiles into Russia, deep strikes into Russia, and the Russian response, the red line. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov blasted U.S. after Ukraine's missile attack on Russia. Now, what occurred today is that, after being allowed to strike deep within Russia, Ukraine launched 6 attack missiles into the Bryansk region of Russia. 5 were shot down. 5 of the missiles that were shot into Russian territory were shot down. One missile in particular was shot down, but debris from the missile landed, didn't cause any major damage, and thankfully, no casualties or deaths. I could turn it up, get a little music. This is the time in India, so. He said attacks on Russian Bryansk with U.S. missiles was a clear signal of escalation by the West. Lavrov said he hoped Moscow's new nuclear doctrine would be attentively read by its enemies. Now he is referring to the United States as its enemies. This is huge. I told you they was going to lead us into World War III. As per updated doctrine, President Vladimir Putin lowered the threshold for a nuclear strike. The fact that ATACMS was used repeatedly tonight in the Bryansk region is, of course, a signal that they want to escalate. This is insane.
Неоднократно. Это, конечно, сигнал о том, что они хотят эскалацию. И без американцев используют.
It is impossible to use these high-tech missiles without the Americans. So the Americans, even though they have allowed Ukraine usage to strike within Russia, deep within Russian territory, it's Americans who are operating these batteries, providing them with intelligence and targeting data information. Putin has said this repeatedly, and he has warned about how our
эти ракеты высокотехнологичные, Путин об этом многократно говорил, невозможно. И он предупреждал о том, как будет.
Position will change if this long-range missile that they are now talking about, up to 300 kilometers, is approved. It's been approved, and you're going to see the Russian response.
Меняться наша позиция, если вот эта вот дальнобойность, о которой они сейчас рассуждают, до 300 километров будет одобрена. Я надеюсь, что там будут.
I hope that they will read this doctrine, decree signed by Putin, broadening the justification for Moscow's use of nuclear weapons.
Эту доктрину читать. И не так, как они читают устав ООН, усматривая там только то, что им нужно,
Not in the way that, okay, well, we already read this. Okay, let's just repeat.
Во всей ее полноте и взаимосвязанности.
Earlier, 6 attacking ballistic missiles were fired at the Russian region, Moscow's military said. Russian air defense is down 5 attacking missiles over the Bryansk region, the military said. Down them. See, they have air defenses. America doesn't. Fragments of an attacking missile fell in military facilities, technical area, Moscow said. So they tried to hit a military facility. The fragments of the missile caused fire at the military facility and has been extinguished. Okay, so that's that particular report concerning Ukraine using long-range missiles into pre-2014 Russia. Now, a couple months ago, maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, Russia revised its nuclear doctrine. And I'm just going to paraphrase here, but it said that any non-nuclear state with the tentative support of a nuclear state that launches drones, missiles, or weapons of mass destruction into the Federation of Russia or the Russian Federation, it would be considered a joint attack. Now, since Ukraine launched those missiles, there is a report that I saw a few minutes ago. And again, when I get better with this tablet, I'm going to have my information. I'm going to have my information. It's going to flow. Right now it's all scattered. But there was a report. Okay, so this is another report. This is the Russian response, right? And this deals with underwater sea cables. I don't, again, this is from the Times of India. I haven't been able to cross-reference this information or validate it with information from other news sources, but I'm just going to give you the information that we have on hand.
Hey, wait.
And again, this is
gas,
unverified information.
You haven't filled up, have you? Can
Okay. So this is Sweden and Finland recently updated citizen guidelines for military and power outages. Let me make sure this is the right article. Okay, so the article is by the Times of India, and it says Russia's surprise naval attack on NATO states. Internet undersea cables cut in the Baltic with a question mark behind it. And that's giving us the details. So again, we don't know if Russia actually attacked underwater sea cables or not. But again, this is an article on the Times of India. This article is 4 hours ago, so it's recent news. This is after Ukraine struck into Russian territory with attack of missiles. A report found Russia deploying suspected spy ships to Nordic waters in 2023. Russia will fire weapons of mass destruction. Dangerous deterrent by Putin's close aid for NATO. Threat. This is threat after Putin revises Russia's nuclear doctrine. Now again, this is coming, they say from Medvedev, who was, he's a much more hardliner than Putin is, and he's the ex-president of Russia. But again, threat after Putin revises Russia nuclear doctrine. Mass destruction of NATO missiles are launched toward Russian territory. They're talking about the attackers that were shot down, five of the 6. Medvedev further stated that such action by NATO could mean World War III. I told you they was going to lead you right into it. Russia's new nuclear doctrine means NATO missiles fired against our country could be deemed an attack by the bloc on Russia. So this means that if one NATO country launches an attack against Russia, any country, is considered an attack by the entire bloc, including the United States. Statement comes minutes after Vladimir Putin authorized Russia's new nuclear doctrine. The doctrine says Russia can use nuclear deterrence to prevent aggression by Rocco, quiet. Hostile powers that possess weapons of mass destruction or large arsenals. The revised nuclear order also states that countries that provide space to such parties, even if you fly over my space and launch an attack, to prepare and launch an attack against Russia are also subject to the policy as well. Poland, Romania. The revised doctrine has been authorized days after Joe Biden's big missile move. Biden has allowed Ukraine to use U.S.-supplied long-range weapons to strike Russia. See, Black America thinks this stuff is a joke. Undersea internet cables damaged in the Baltic Sea. Internet disrupted in Baltics amid Russia-Ukraine escalation. So cables suffer physical damage as Russia readies big retaliation. 2 undersea internet cables in the Baltic Sea were disrupted, telecom companies reported. They're cutting the cables, man. They're cutting off communication. The cable between Lithuania and Sweden was cut on Sunday morning, CNN reported. This is a CNN report. CNN reported that Telia, Lithuania, confirmed the damage to the cable was likely physical. The disruption was detected through internet traffic issues on monitoring systems. A second cable between Finland and Germany, the Sea Line, was also impacted. Senia, the company operating the Sea Line, said it could be outside interference. Again, this is all speculation. Senia announced that a physical inspection has not yet been conducted at the site. Now, again, we can't jump to conclusions and, emphatically say that Russia cut the underwater sea cables or any of that. So, again, this is raw intelligence, meaning it has not been scientifically established as true facts. Finland and Germany issued a joint statement warning of possible hybrid warfare. Look, they scared to death over in Europe. Their foreign ministers called the incident deeply concerning and volatile. Rocco, the threat situation posed by Russia, and not just a military one, but also a hybrid one. Incidentally, okay, look at Rocco. Look, you're not finna join World War III yet, Rocco, so be quiet. Okay, nobody believes that these cables were accidentally cut. U.S. officials warned recently of increased Russian activity near undersea infrastructure. Rocco. Russia will fire weapons of mass destruction if NATO. Dangerous deterrent. Okay, so this is just a repeat. Okay, so let's get into it. Russia has repeatedly warned of red lines. Repeatedly. 1. Stop the eastward expansion of NATO. Stop the eastward expansion of NATO. That red line was crossed. And as a result, what do we see? We saw the Russian war with Georgia, the 8-day war, I think it was. And now we've entered the 1,000th day of the special military operation, the war between Russia and Ukraine, as a result of NATO continually expanding eastward. After it was agreed in 1991 with the collapse of the Soviet Union that NATO would put itself in check. We see that didn't happen. Now, Russia, the only other red line that the Russians themselves stated was deep strikes into Russia. That red line has been crossed. With permission given by the Biden administration, which they had already secretly shipped long-range missiles, they had already secretly shipped them to Ukraine. Now Ukraine has the tacit approval of the United States to launch attacks against Russia, pre-2014 Russia, deep within its territories. And Russia has revised its nuclear doctrine. It is said that if you attack us, we are going to attack you. And possibly we will attack you with nuclear weapons. So that's the latest. I'm going to end this video. Rocco out there, he had like we already in World War III. Like, we're not on the front line, Rocco. He had like we're on the front line, but we're not. But I'm going to end this video. It's getting late. I'm losing some of my lighting. And, again, I got the tablet. And tomorrow I'm going to start reading chapters of Strategic Alliance. And we're going to see if we can get some type of ground with that, man. But I really need for y'all to start ordering this book. I need to sell 10,000 copies of this book at $25 a pop. I need to sell, again, 25,000 copies, 10,000 copies of Strategic Alliance. I wish I could sell 25,000, but 10,000 copies of Strategic Alliance at $25 a pop. This is Amerika. And I got someone that's reading this book that might translate this book into one of the many Indian languages. He said that if he liked the book, he's going to put a good word in, you know, with the people over in India, and we see if we can get this book, you know, disseminated and you know, printed over in India. So, you know, we're gonna see. But I'm telling you right now, Strategic Alliance is my jewel. I don't think I ever write another book better than Strategic Alliance. But who knows? I mean, you know. Okay, yeah, Rocco's definitely ready to fight. But I'm gonna end this video. I'm gonna post this video. Like and subscribe to the channel. Like I said, I got the tablet now, so my work is gonna be much easier. Once I get some staff, you know, then, you know, we're gonna pop these videos out, and I'm gonna give 10,000 black men, you know, the Thunder and Black Shield. I'm gonna give our people the information that they need. But anyway, I'm gonna end the video.